My unit, salute. Welcome to a special weekend edition of Amped Up, featuring the SmackDown review for 4/4/2025. As it stands, we are now just 2 weeks away from WrestleMania 41, 14 days. So to say that last night's WWE SmackDown had to bring it, that's an understatement. But the question I have coming off of that show last night is, what the was that? Did we actually get a good show last night? In totality, was there some speed bumps? No question. WrestleMania matches, even title matches being thrown at us last minute with the utmost of randomness. No question. I told you that was going to happen. That's what happens when you don't plan ahead and you get to the 11th hour and you have to fill up an entire night's worth of matches. But in totality, what happened last night? That was pretty damn good. Can't believe I'm saying this. I don't know if Hunter Hearst Helmsley, if Stephanie, maybe Stephanie opened her purse so Hunter could retrieve his balls and put on a good production. Well, come on. Randy Orton said that one. Randy Orton said that's what they were kept. You're going to boo BC? Orton said that. Maybe he retrieved them from Stephanie's purse. Maybe he just got locked in a closet. Maybe other suits and ties wrote this show. They said, enough. We're hearing that it's a lack of a WrestleMania feel. We got to do something. And they just shoved Hunter Hearst Helmsley into a closet for 3 hours. That's possible. But something, maybe the roster was just so happy to be back in the U.S. It's Chicago, so how happy could they have been? New York, baby, come on! Much love. Chicago brought it, though, man. Fan-wise, reaction-wise. There was times you would have thought it was an international show. They definitely brought it. And they matched the Cody Rhodes with the Roman song last night. That was pretty badass. But I don't know what it was. But this show for 3 hours was not a drag. It was not a chore. This show was watchable. They did what I always ask these shows to do. Tony Khan finally did it on Dynamite this past Wednesday. In a small way. And WWE did it in a simplistic way as well. Right? I always say, give us something at the start of the show and keep going back to it to build our interest. Something very simple, I always tell you guys. Like a wrestler A waiting for wrestler B to arrive to the arena. So he's in the parking lot waiting. Okay, this is what they did with Paul Heyman last night, waiting on the arrival of Roman. We've seen that before, but it works. It's effective, and you can do it in different variations. They did that last night, so no matter what was on the show, you knew you had to wait till Roman showed up. They kept going back to Paul. Paul was growing impatient. He thinks it's Roman. Here comes Seth. Byron is hassling him. Do you know when Roman's going to show up? Byron, will you shut up? Starts mocking Byron's voice. Paul Heyman getting increasingly annoyed. Also annoyed at the fact that Punk won't tell him what the favor is until Roman shows up. To the point where he finally, in the parking lot, has a breakdown and screams, I accept. Whatever your favor is, I accept. All right? Can we just get it done with? But Punk still waits until Roman shows up. Now, the favor itself was exactly what I told you it was going to be. It couldn't have been anything else. Paul Heyman is the only bargaining chip here. There's no title on the line. There's no reason, really, for this match. Other than they supposedly all don't like one another. Again, Punk, Rollins, you understand it. Rollins, Roman. Punk, Roman, I wasn't buying it until last night went off the air. Now I'm feeling it. But before that, it was completely manufactured. But that's the main event of Mania, because WWE realized Jey Uso and Gunther was not going to cut it. They realized pretty quickly, that cannot main event. Main event Jey Uso has to be kickoff show Jey Uso. Come on. Booing BC again. I'm kidding, man. He'll be on the main show. He'll probably kick off the show, right? The main show. We'll have a Yeetamania. Everybody will yeet as he hoists up as a champion. Jey Uso. Good for him, man. But that's not main event. Main event Jey Uso isn't actually main event. We know that. WWE just found that out. So they had to throw this weird matchup up. But I tell you this, man. Last night, I finally grew a semblance of giving a shit about this match. Even with the lame status quo favor that we knew it was all going to be. We'll talk about it. But it was Tiffany, Stratton, and Charlie that also put the show on their back and said, hey, hold our coffee. Let's see what we can do. Tiffany trying to roast Charlie, man. Charlie, Chicago wouldn't let speak. Chicago would not let Charlie Flair speak to the point where she cut off a lot of her promo and said, Tiffany, you just get the last word. And Tiffany said, you might be 4-3 at WrestleMania, but you're 0-3 in other areas, aren't you? Meaning her marriages, bro. She dropped a Kim Kardashian bomb. You can try a dozen different marriages. None of them are going to work. That was a low blow. Charlie got actually upset. You can tell when Charlie really gets pissed. So when Tiffany rolled out of the ring, Charlie yells back, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs? A lot of people don't know what she was talking about if you're not a smart fan or in the know. Ludwig Kaiser and Tiffany Stratton are a real item. IRL, that's legit. That's a couple. So to say, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs? That could cause a lot of issues. I don't know if that was approved or not. It seemed like a last-second dig by Charlie to try to get over. Because commentary was like talking over it. It was just so... there was a realistic vibe to it. Planned or not. Those lines were planted or not. I don't know. But that got low and that got real fast. That was kick-ass, man. You had Kevin Owens in an emotional, unfortunate relinquishing of his spot at WrestleMania and saying he's put on the shelf. And with those neck surgeries, because that's what it is, unfortunately, sometimes you don't come back, you don't get cleared. So we don't know, Kevin Owens, does he return or not? If so, it's going to be a long-ass time, well more than a year. If it's neck surgery... Kevin Owens might indeed miss 42 as well, but at this point, does he even wrestle again? We'll talk about it. Reymond Fenix debuted last night. We'll talk about it. And again, a couple of new championship matches were declared for WrestleMania. I don't like how this was set up, but at least we're starting to file the card out 2 weeks before the show. And props to Damian Priest. In just 3 minutes, he sold me a little bit more on Damian Drew McIntyre for the 65th time. But I'll tell you how he did it. If you missed the show, you're shocked right now. Did BC just say it was good? Listen, if there was 2 columns, good and bad, this would definitely have to go into the good. And we'd have to shut down that bad column. In totality, this 3 hours would go into a good show category. It's wild. I'll talk about it. Let me get a swig of coffee. We're not going to go to an opening signature. I don't have the time. I got to jump into it. And I know it's the weekend. You guys are busy too. So we're just going to jump into this show. There was no amped up yesterday. And I had some stories that I did want to go over. So because of that, you guys are going to get a special amped up, another weekend edition tomorrow. So be on the lookout. Don't just be subscribed. You also got to be notified. The little bell down below, wherever it is. You guys should see a bell. Nail that thing. First should be the like. Give that an RKO or a Styles Clash. Lock it into the figure 4, not the figure 8. That like button doesn't tap out to the figure 8. Sorry, not sorry, Charlie Flair. But tap out or pin that like button. And then you go to the bell and you ring that sumbitch yourself to collect that W. So pin the like button, ring the bell yourself. Make sure you're notified on all uploads. Subscribed, notified. And smash that up. Show that support. Help out the algorithm. Let BC know you're fully amplified. Now that upload tomorrow is going to go 2 hours earlier for all channel members. All members to this channel, Gold Card, Diamond Card, VIP Coffee Club. All you guys will get tomorrow's upload 2 hours before anybody else. A perk for being a member. Even if you're a brand new channel member and you just have your Gold Card. That's enough to earn you 2 hours earlier than everyone else. So, channel members, man, you will get that upload 2 hours beforehand. So, that'll be pretty cool. And everything I wanted to go over yesterday and anything that pops up today, we can discuss tomorrow. Also, all my thankses from the week. I know a lot of you guys chucked coffees at the channel via that thanks option down below. Thanking BC for the content. Well, this is my opportunity in the week to thank you guys back. So all of those super thankses down below, I accumulated them over the week, including whatever today, if any. Thank you guys beforehand. But I will absolutely give a portion of tomorrow's upload, dedicate a portion to thank you guys for each and every one of those. We'll go over them because there were some good discussions in those as well. So super thankses tomorrow. Don't miss that upload. We're going to go over all of them. Salute, guys. Let's jump into this. SmackDown 4/4/25. Did BC say this was a good show? I did. And this is why. So the first 25 minutes of this show is CM Punk on a sentimental thank you tour. Now, I should tell you this up front, right? We're going to break it down. First hour, Second hour, the ladies really put it on their back. And third hour picked up where the dudes kind of came in and carried their weight. So that was kind of the breakdown. The first hour was a little... It was a little bit of a roller coaster in terms of good or bad. But I guess it's in the eye of the beholder because it did have Reymond Fenix's debut. But the first 25 minutes of this show is CM Punk on a sentimental thank you tour. Those tears last Friday when he found out he was going to be the main event, that carried into this week, and the dude was all up in his feels, right? So he's thanking Chicago, he's thanking his wife AJ Lee, Larry the dog, the 16K in attendance. He's on a thank you tour, and he starts telling a story, an emotional story on how he's not even supposed to be here. When he was born, there was a cord wrapped around him, he came out blue, and so he's not supposed to be here. He's not supposed to be in the supermarket getting groceries. He's not supposed to be walking Larry. He's not supposed to be doing the how you doing, the freaky diggity with AJ Lee. He's not supposed to be doing any of that. He's not supposed to be here. So an emotional story from Punk. Paul Heyman then comes to the ring. Heyman blows his typical smoke up Punk's ass, as only Heyman can do, right? Pumping up Punk, pumping up their relationship, their history, right? Really planting the seeds that there's such a connection between the two. And then he asks, what exactly is the favor that I owe you, if I may ask? Punk says, well, once Roman arrives, I'll let you and your chief know. And the segment kind of ends just like that. Did we need 25 minutes for this? Of course not. But it at least gave you something to look forward to, because now Heyman was going to the parking lot, and he was going to wait the entire 2.5 hours till we got to the final segment. 2.5 hours to, well, by that point, it was already a half an hour into the show, really, 25 minutes. And they had almost a half an hour for the so 2 hours. He was going to wait 2 hours for Roman to show up. And we would go back to it like 3 or 4 times. We kept going back to Paul Heyman. I love that. That's what makes a television show. And it's simplistic. A dude is just waiting for somebody in the park. I tell you guys all the time, that's all you got to do. And you just wait for that limo or that black SUV to pull up. And it just creates this like, oh, what's going to happen when X or Y does show up? Or it just questions, man. A television show needs that, right? Is Punk going to meet him when he finally shows up and he doesn't even make it to the ring? Like when he thought it was Roman and it was Rollins that popped out, and they ended up having a promo back and forth, him and Heyman. Like little things. You can set up so much from something so simplistic. So I love that. I love how they did that. AEW did a little something like that on Wednesday when Swerve said, Renee, I'm going to get my hands on Mox tonight. Not at Dynasty, not in Philly, not next year, not at All In, All Out. Because earlier in the night, Mox took out Willow, man, dropped a DDT right on her dome piece. So then they tried to get a medical update with Willow, and Swerve's like, no, tonight I'm getting my... So then you kind of, you went back at the end of the show, and Swerve is on the hunt for Mox. I love that. That's what makes a television show. So did we need 25 minutes for this? No. Was it a whole lot of nothing? Yes, but it did set up the rest of the show. So for those reasons, I'm on board. Check. Now, if you're looking for wrestling after a half an hour, you'll get it with Reymond Fenix's debut. Rey Fenix defeating Nathan Frazier via pinfall with his muscle buster finisher. Post-match, an interesting promo to say the least from Rey Fenix. Just like Penta, promos aren't necessarily the strong suit. But you had an emotional Rey Fenix talking about how he already loves being there and this is his dream. So just an emotional Rey, and he's yelling. He's yelling a lot about how happy he is. I mean, it was a cool moment. So that was basically the first hour. A lot of filler, commercials, some promo packages for Mania. Hunter Hearst Helmsley is going into the Hall of Fame, in case you haven't found out or known. Yes, it feels at this point that nobody else is. Every single show, we're just getting a 5-minute Hunter Hearst Helmsley package. Okay, but that was the first hour. The first hour, everybody was kind of up in their feels. You know, emotional. Punk, emotional about he's going to be in the main event of Mania. Rey Fenix, emotional because he finally landed in WWE. There's nothing else I can say on the debut either, guys. It was Rey. If you've seen a Rey Fenix match, if you've seen one, you've seen a million. Him and Frazier did some ooh and ah moment moves. And that was pretty much it. It's really going to be about the booking. Is he going to have enough stories that are going to make me care more than just the wrestling? The roster's filled with great wrestlers. And we got Penta over there. And it looks like he doesn't really have a direction. Hunter doesn't have a direction for Penta. So he's having all these weird matchups and triple threats. And then all of a sudden it looks like he's going for an IC championship at Mania. I don't know. Is any of this really like a storyline that's captive? Instead of Penta holding a title quickly, I'd rather Penta be in a storyline I care about quickly. Right from the jump, put him in stories that we care about. Titles we can talk about in the future. And then on top of that, Rey Fenix then comes in. So then you have to ask, if you're Rey Fenix, does Hunter have a progression for you, a story for you? Or is Hunter Hearst Helmsley going to just have you in wrestling matches because people know you're a good wrestler and they're going to ooh and ah and they're going to buy your masks? I'm just asking for more. I'm not trying to be I'm not going to be the Donald Downer here. But, I mean, come on, bro. How many wrestlers can you have out there just doing wrestling moves and matches? You have to have something. So I wish I could tell you, I wish I could be more excited. Oh my God, Rey Fenix debuted. I need to see more. You know, you can sign all the talent in the world. There's video packages already playing. Vignettes for Aleister Black, Malachi coming back. Cool. But are you going to have something for him? We heard that Miro has re-signed with the WWE. Cool. Are you going to have something for him? We're hearing that all of these NXT talents are going to come up after Mania to the main roster. Cool. Where are you putting them? Are you going to have anything for them? They're already bringing up ID. Remember all the schools, their ID program with all the training schools? These are like kids. And they're going to have them up at the Performance Center having matches and getting into stories. It's like, where? Why? What is the rush to have 500 people on your roster? Chill. This industry doesn't need more and more and more wrestlers right now, or at least not these companies. They need less. Work with what you have. Give what you have right now good stories. Come up with good creative for what you have. You have 500 people with your ID program and your Performance Center, NXT, the main roster, all of these AEW talents that are coming over, and you haven't even filled your second night of WrestleMania. It's in 14 days. Sorry, not sorry. That has to be said, and that's what you come to this channel for. The truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or BS you guys. I never will. That's the truth. So yeah, it was cool to see Rey Fenix, but my question from the beginning was, then what? After he has his debut wrestling match, then what? Does everybody just go on WWE Shop and get the mask and go, oh, this is awesome? It's only awesome if you put him in storylines we care about. We have to get that feeling, right? That next level, actual emotional attachment. Thanks for listening. That's the truth on Rey Fenix. But it was an emotional first hour. CM Punk and his main event tears are still around, and he's got this favor that he wants to get off his chest. Raymond Fenix finally gets his debut in his dream job, WWE. So hour one, everyone up in their feels. Would hour two bring finally some badassery to this show? Would hour two have anything that actually has to do with WrestleMania? What a concept. Yes, it would. Let's talk about it. So first and foremost, LA Knight would defeat Tama Tonka Truck via BFT pinfall. That's it. So that part was nothing, right? I mean, at least they did announce that whoever wins a last man standing coming up between Jacob, Fatu, and Braun Strowman, they would take on LA Knight at WrestleMania for LA Knight's championship. So last minute, weird. Like, what? Yes, absolutely. But 14 days away from Mania, I told you, you're going to start getting weird shit like this. You win this match, you get a title match at Mania. So your champion here is just having this weird match with Tama Tonka Truck just to have the match. LA Knight wins. Then it gets good. Charlie Flair, Tiffany Stratton in a wild back and forth promo. Chicago popping off for Tiffy time. Big time. Chicago loving Tiffany Stratton. I don't know whose idea it was to have both these ladies wearing the same thing almost. I mean, guys, it was nearly the same outfit. I don't understand that at all. It's like they both bumped into each other at the local Macy's department store. And they're like, oh, yeah, you got that? You got that? Well, I'm not putting it away. Well, I'm not putting it away. Well, I'm going to wear it. I'm going to wear it. And they both fucking decide. They thought they called each other's bluff. They both came out with the same outfit. But regardless, one of these two ladies was getting heavy love from Chicago. And I'll give you a hint. It was not Charles Flair. So while Chicago was popping off for Tiffy, subsequently they were not letting Charles get a word in. That's the best way to put it. Like, they would not let Charlie Flair get a word. Like, she had a whole bunch of promo words she's supposed to spew out, and Chicago was just giving her the Dominic Mysterio treatment, just not letting her say a word. The problem with that is Dominic can play off that. Charlie, you could see, actually starts to get emotional. Like, Charlie goes into, like, really mode, and that's where her doubts and self-confidence, all of that, self-esteem, all of that kind of gets hit. And you can see her kind of just recoil and just inward, just start to deplete. So she tells Tiffany, you know what, you just go. Guys, she didn't even bother spewing a big chunk of her promo. So then it went right back to Tiffany. And Tiffany recited everything that she was supposed to. A lot of that was written dialogue, guys. That is true. I'm not saying Tiffany's the greatest with material like that. She's good at playing the heel. That's what she was raised to do in NXT. And when she got to the main roster, she's just so damn good that everyone started to cheer for her. So give her some time. She'll get better. She's playing the face now, man. So you really got to hit all the material and the bullet points and everything that's written for you while giving it your own twist. But she's a natural born heel who just happens to be really good, became a face, and is popping off. There's no other way to say it. Like, Charlie's a natural born heel, but the fans make sure that that's where she should stay. Some people need to just stay there. They're not going to get that type of love from the majority. So Tiffany is still trying to navigate her way through. There's so many heel tendencies in her promos. But they would not let Charlie get a word in, so she just volleys it right back to Tiffany. And Tiffany says no matter how many years you're on top, how many titles you win, how long you've been away for, they'll never care about you. And you'll always be second to Ric Flair. You're just a Nepo baby. Charlie flips out. She's like, Nepo queen, Nepo queen. The finish to this was incredible. Stratton brings up Charlie's recent divorce to Andrade. You may be 4-3 at WrestleMania, but you're 0-3 elsewhere. I mean, I couldn't believe she went to the marriage, man. 4-3 is your Mania stats. 0-3 in other areas, your marriages. And she knew that was a low blow, so she ducks out of the ring. Charlie yells out when the segment seemed to be already over. Charlie yells out, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs? Kaiser is her real-life boyfriend, Ludwig Kaiser from, I believe, Monday Night Raw? Is he on Raw? I don't know where he is, but maybe SmackDown. Wherever Butch is, because I know he just got pinned by Butch in a weird heel versus heel triple threat with Penta a few weeks ago. Either way, man, Kaiser is in my... That's what she said to Tiffany. I couldn't... I'm like, did we just throw the gloves off at the end of that promo? Was that written? And if it was, it at least makes you think, whoa, they crossed that boundary. That wasn't written, right? It at least gives you that realistic vibe that maybe it wasn't. That was wild, man. Bringing up the Andrade divorce and all of her divorces for that matter, basically calling her the Kim Kardashian of WWE. Get a dude, date, marry instantly, divorce, repeat the process. So then Charlotte yells out, "Is that why your boyfriend's in my DM?" That was wild, man. Like, that just hit a whole nother level right there, man. And Tiffany was like in her zone last night. Whether it was the greatest promo or delivery or she has the voice for it or not, doesn't even matter. She was like pacing and, playing with the hair and just got that mean mug. Like, she came to bring it because a couple weeks ago, everybody was shitting on it and saying she got absolutely ripped apart by Charlie. So this time she was like, nah, her in Chicago are going to whoop some Charlie Flair ass on the mic. But I love the zone that Tiff was in. But I don't know, man. I'm not saying it was flawless by Tiffany, but Charlie got eaten up by Chicago. That depleted her self-esteem and her self-confidence. And before you know it, Tiffany was running over the Charlie train. You don't often see that on the microphone. Usually, no matter what circumstance, Charlie can overcome it and throw enough low blows in there to take the W on the promo. But if I had to put a W on one of these ladies, it's going to Tiffany Stratton. But damn, Charlie with the lowest of blows right at the tail end, man. That was wild, bro. Motor City then defeated DIY. I feel so bad for Tommaso. The dude runs full steam into an exposed top turnbuckle and then is subsequently rolled up. And that's how Motor City beats him. He runs face first into a top turnbuckle and then gets rolled up. All you're missing is the clown. It's like a clown show. There goes Tommaso. Boing, rolled up. Dong, 1, 2, 3. Tommaso looking like a clown. It's a shame what's happened to that tag division. It's a shame that a couple years ago, Hunter said, what would be best booking for you and Johnny? We'll put you together as DIY, like NXT, black and gold. I told you guys from day one, didn't I? That's never going to work. Because it's not black and gold, first of all. It's years later, and there's no tag team division. There's tag teams. Some of them are good. Most of them. But there's no division. Nobody cares about it because it's an irrelevant, non-existent division. But it's been that way for years. So I told you from day one, you put two really good wrestlers together, that's adorable. What's it going to do? Same people in the women's division. Oh, put Alexa Bliss and Nikki together. What's that going to do? You don't have a division. You can put all these great wrestling combos together. What's it going to do? Nothing. Listen to BC. I know what I'm talking about. It's what I do, man. For you guys. So here we are years later. They had a couple of title reigns in the past several months. Are you going to remember any of them? Of course you're not. Because they're not memorable. It's not your fault. They're just not memorable. So Motor City becomes the number one contenders for Street Profits titles. I still feel they're going to find a weird way to make this a multi-tag team schmaz, but maybe Hunter said, you know what? I have so many other schmaz matches. I'm just going to have to narrow this down to challengers versus champions. What a concept. Sadly, it's a match we've already seen, and that's the problem with it too. Mania used to be a night where... one night where you would get all these matches you never saw before. And they all had really good stories. You never saw these people in the ring together facing one another. Nowadays you've seen a lot of these matches so many times. Maybe that's why they feel they have to add a third wheel or a fourth wheel. Spice it up, they feel. Stupid. But Motor City takes this victory over DIY in a clown show way. They'll be taking on Street Profits. Naomi's been one of the hottest things in world wrestling entertainment and all of the world of pro wrestling. She was up next. Naomi pins B-Fab with a wild new finisher. I don't even know what to call it. If anybody knows what that's called, go ahead and drop it down below because I don't know what she calls that, but I'm going to find out because Naomi, what a move. That would knock B-Fab out into next Friday night. Jade Cargill would attack. By the way, she would attack before this match as well. But after... Naomi makes quick work of B-Fab, by the way, nearly a squash, if not a squash match. She makes quick work. She gets on the mic and she says, "Where you at, Jade? I'm still here." And she turns around and Jade's right there. I think it was like a bicycle kick, something like that. But she drops Naomi. And right before she's about to give that glam slam, dare I say, Storm Zero, Tony Storm? What does she call her glam slam? I forgot. Forgetting these finishers now. But basically, it's Beth Phoenix's glam slam. I'm drawing a blank on her, what she calls it. But she's about to hit that, and all of a sudden, all these security and referees come out to pull them apart, brawl at that point. But I'm glad that they separated that. I didn't need to see Naomi take another glam slam. Absolutely not. Save that. So I'm so glad that that actually got split up. And Jade Cargill just starts taking out all the security and the suits and ties while Naomi is able to escape. I actually thought that was well done. I really do. I have no complaints on this. I really feel that Naomi and Jade Cargill is probably one of the hottest stories that they have right now. Go figure. And I'm talking about more than most of their championship matches for Mania. That's why it was so important when Naomi and Belair had that really good segment a few weeks ago, and Naomi was talking about why she did what she did, and she admitted it. There was no reason to have Jade come out, and then it became instantly Jade and Naomi, and Jade took out Naomi. It was like, all right, well, now it's over then. Jade just got her revenge, dropped Naomi, that's it. You don't need to see any more payoff because that's what it was. I really wish they didn't do that, but they did. So I'm trying to forget that, but like if they didn't do that, this was near flawless so far with these two. And Naomi is just so, her confidence, her self-esteem, the way she's rocking. I mean, on the microphone, that short but sweet statement, right? Jay, where you at? I'm right here. Like the conviction in her voice is unlike anything we've seen over 10 years as a face. It's like she found her groove. And now she can truly rock. Vince would never give her anything like this. The first couple of years, Hunter gave her nothing. And finally, she's like, can I just try this? And it's a grand slam. Naomi, salute. Also got to give props to Damian Priest, man. There was a backstage segment, like 3 or 4 minutes tops. And he's just going over all of him and Drew McIntyre's history, basically. Like, why should we care that they're having a WrestleMania match? This is a match we've already seen 65 times. We've seen it at pay-per-views recently. Last year, what was it, Money in the Bank? Something like that. I think that was the big botch. Remember, Damian was supposed to kick out, but he got pinned. But the referee, held the... It was bad. But, this was just to tie everything up. I love how they did this because I tell you guys all the time, history alone cannot be a reason to do something. It's not going to get everybody on board or having fun or be intrigued by something. History alone, most of this roster has history with one another. They've all had probably 100 matches with one another. A lot of them have had storylines before. But why in 2025 are they mixing it up or crossing paths? You gotta put new layers into it, right? In 2025, why are we doing this? I say that about Roman, Punk, and Rollins. That's why that triple threat didn't make sense to a lot of us and just didn't fit. It's just the history that they have. That's why Punk is in the middle of this, because there's history with him and Roman and the Shield way back in the day. No. Why now are they mixing it up? And just saying that he eliminated Roman from the Rumble, that's not good enough for a lot of us. So, again, last night, I feel they took a huge step in the right direction. We'll go over that. But going into last night, that's what I mean, man. If you're just resting on history, a lot of us felt like the latest Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens match. We rolled our eyes and we just said enough because we've seen it so many times. Why in 2025 are they facing each other? Because Kevin Owens was upset that Sami wasn't a good enough friend at the Royal Rumble. But we've seen 15 years of that same storyline. We already know that they're not good friends to one another. They've turned on each other 16 times. They've had 95 matches and 46 storylines. And that's what we got in 2025. I'm upset with you because you're still not a good friend. BC, it doesn't matter. Look at the history that they have. No, you have to make it make sense. My point is, last night, in 3 minutes, Damian Priest put all this into one beautiful package that made everything make sense and actually got BC a little bit, just a little bit, more into this Mania match with him and Drew McIntyre. I mean, they went back to basically every single interaction they had. Damian got the best of Drew. But I love how they did it because Drew is like, I eliminated you from the Rumble. That's what you're supposed to do. And yet you played the victim and I'm the bad guy. It's my fault. I cashed in my Money in the Bank briefcase on you. That's what you're supposed to do. I have the briefcase, yet you play a victim and I'm the bad guy. It's my fault. We had a match at a pay-per-view. I pinned you. And yet you're the victim and I'm the bad guy. It's my fault. And he just went on, and it was so interesting because I forgot a lot of the history they had. Because I either forgot because it was irrelevant, or it was just, that damn forgettable. But when you tie it all up for a future matchup, that becomes a part of the story now. Now the history really kicks in. Because it all made sense. If you look at everything they do, Damian does one up and get the better of Drew, and Drew gets so pissed off because of that. Now I feel like there's more of a reason. And Damian just recounts all of it and then says, you know what? I'm done with it. At Mania, I will make you the victim. It's like my pops used to say, I'll give you something to cry about. Damian Priest is telling Drew McIntyre, I'll give you something to cry about. You're always crying anyway. You're always the victim. It's always my fault. Well, then let's do it the right way. Damian Priest, man, I thought that was well done. I'm not saying I'm super looking forward to this match. It's a SmackDown match or a Raw match at best. And I say that generously because it's a match we've seen so many times on Raw and on SmackDown and at pay-per-views. But damn, I mean, there's something about that package. I was like, damn, that did happen. That did happen. Drew did do that. All right. And then we go into hour number 3. Let me get another swig, man. My Dunkin' Extras, they made it good today. The fine folks over at Dunkin', salute. Hour number 3 was an emotional start, man. Kevin Owens, not just relinquishing his 41 spot, but leaving WWE for a while. Kevin Owens starts hour 3, announces he has to relinquish his WrestleMania spot and needs neck surgery. He apologizes to the fans and he leaves the ring. Randy Orton then comes to the ring. Nick Aldis informs Orton that he no longer has a match at WrestleMania, obviously. Orton, pissed off, RKO's the general manager of SmackDown, Nicholas Aldis. Aldis goes down like a ton of bricks right where he was standing. And I love, like, afterwards, too, as he's trying to get up and he's looking at Randy like, tu Brute. Why? And he's like staggering like he got hit with a tranquilizer. Aldis played it off beautifully. But Randy Orton not happy with hearing those words. It's going to be interesting if they give Randy a last-minute matchup. They have plenty of talents to replace Kevin. Would it make sense? No, not with such short notice. So it would have to be something big. Maybe you bring in a big name that was not supposed to be wrestling. Pay him a bunch of money, take an L to Randy. Just saying, you could have a lot of fun with this. It sucks to hear what happened to Kevin, but you can turn this negative into a huge positive. And we wish Kevin Owens the best, man. It's not just about coming back or when he can come back. It's if, guys. This is neck surgery. It's, Edge, Adam Copeland will tell you. Brian Danielson will tell you. Paige will tell you. So many will tell you. Like, when it has to do with the neck, Big E will tell you, bro. Big E will tell you. A chance he may never, just to see Big E walking when he did was like, thank goodness. Wrestling becomes secondary. And I think that's, Owens knows that. A lot of people are like, dude, 2 weeks, you couldn't just have one more match. I mean, you were wrestling 4 months with this, he said. You could have had one more. No, guys, you don't play with something like that. I'm sure his wife, his family was pissed off that he was going the 4 months. But according to Owens, they just kind of figured it out now. I don't know if Owens was kind of hiding it a little more than he should have, or making it seem like it wasn't a big thing because it's Mania season. A lot of wrestlers have done that. But we wish Owens the best, man. I can't say I was looking forward to Owens and Orton at WrestleMania. It just didn't do it for me. He dropped Orton on his dome piece, and then Orton was gone for many, many months. It just didn't make sense. He did the same thing to Sami Zayn. Zayn was back the next week. So it just didn't make sense. And when Orton came back, it didn't look like there was that same fire. Last week, Orton's in there with Cody Rhodes, glazing Cody Rhodes and talking about one day he's going for that title. And it just seemed like Owens was an afterthought already. So I wasn't looking forward to it, but you never want to hear something like this. So we wish Kevin Owens the very best, and it'll be interesting to see. What if Nick Aldis says, you know what? You're going to be taking on me, buddy. Imagine Aldis. Aldis is a good pro wrestler, man. Mr. Mickey James is no slouch, and I think he's more than ready to lace up those boots. Nick Aldis for Randy Orton, why not? Let's rock it. That would be interesting. Jacoby Fatu defeating Bronson Strow-man in a last man standing match was next. Again, the winner of this takes on LA Knight for LA Knight's championship at Mania. Thrown together last minute, as I say, absolutely, but this is what they wrote up. Again, Jacoby Fatu defeated Bronson Strow-man. All the gimmicks were used. 76 tables were smashed. A Wreck-It Ralph match personified. Apparently, this was for a WrestleMania title match, as I said, with LA Knight. I told you guys because we waited to the last minute, we were going to start getting matches, even title matches, randomly thrown at us. And that's what they did last night. The Profits, right? Motor City defeats DIY, and all of a sudden it's announced that they'll be taking on Street Profits 2 weeks before Mania. Fatu defeats Strowman. That match will now be at Mania. Fatu, LA Knight. Hey, as long as you don't add in everybody and make it a schmaz, make it one-on-one, I'm cool with it. But I told you guys this was going to happen. Next week, they're having a women's tag title gauntlet match to find opponents for Liv and Raquel. That's a real thing. Next week, Raquel and Liv, they will have their opponents for WrestleMania named for the tag titles in a gauntlet match. I mean, you talk last minute. Guys, that's 7 days away at that point. Or 8. It's Friday night. But you're 1 week away at that point, and we're still trying to get title matches for WrestleMania. This is what I've been trying to tell you. This was not planned correctly. Going into last night, do you guys realize there was at least, if you're having 14 matches, 7 and 7. On each night, you still had a whole night of card that needs to be announced. Like, people are purchasing tickets, they don't even know a full night, not even one match, because only 7 matches were announced going into last night. And we're 2 weeks away from Mania. Guys, no matter what, we all can agree on one thing. This cannot happen again next year. This was a major creative Hunter Hearst Helmsley botch. Maybe it's because he was going into the Hall of Fame and too into all the promos and the commercials and the voiceovers and just being superstar Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Maybe, and hopefully that wears off by next year. And he won't have the Hall of Fame because we need better next year. We should not be getting all these random matches, including title matches, thrown at us last second. But anyway, Jacoby Fatu going for an IC championship, a US championship, I should say. And then we went into it, man. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Sethington Rollins ending this show. Let's talk about it. So Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman to the ring again. Eventually, finally, it took a couple hours, but Roman arrives. Paul Heyman, it doesn't no embrace. Roman walks right by Paul. Music hits, and we're going right through Gorilla into the arena. That was pretty cool. Roman and Paul Heyman to the ring. Roman is all business, as I aforementioned. He calls out CM Punk, but instead gets Sethington Rollins. We do 5 minutes of a sing-along. Crowd is now impatient, though, as Rollins starts to talk some promo game to Roman Reigns. They've had enough. They're waiting for this favor, right? At this point, I'm thinking the only thing they can do is who has the services of Paul Heyman. But they've put it to such a big thing that's going to be anticlimactic for the crowd and those watching at home. Like, there's going to be people that not only are calling this lame, but absolutely horrible. Like, that's what you can... Even Roman was laughing when it was announced. We'll get to that. But I was thinking, like, oh no, this is all going to be for who Paul Heyman is going to be with. And I don't think, because the crowd is now demanding they want the favor. They won't even let Sethington speak. You would have thought Charlie Flair was on the mic. Eventually, we do get to CM Punk coming to the ring. Big heroes welcome hometown kids. CM Punk, CM Punk. So CM Punk is finally in the ring, and CM Punk says straight out, he tells a story to Roman Reigns, how he's your tribal chief, you have such a good connection, but you don't have our connection. And he says, my favor, at WrestleMania 41, Roman Reigns, you need to know that Paul Heyman will be in my corner at WrestleMania 41, not yours. The favor is, Paul, you come with me. Punk says at WrestleMania 41, Paul Heyman will be in his corner. Roman Reigns starts laughing. The crowd is like stunned, like that cannot be it. Crowd was not having that at all. Roman starts laughing. He's like, that's the favor? What are you talking about? And he tells the wise man, he says, and I quote, he says, that's the favor, wise man, let this desperate fool down easy. Paul Heyman is in tears at this point. Roman says, wise man, are you crying? I swear, the line delivery from Roman was great. Wise man, are you crying? It was great. And he says, tell him no, now. And wise man says, no, my tribal chief, I cannot do that. Roman is shocked. Paul Heyman, he did. I don't care if that's just to Mania or not. He dumped Roman for CM Punk on national TV in Chicago. 2 weeks before Mania, he said, I can't do that, my tribal chief. And you could hear Paul Heyman saying off mic, I made the promise. He's going to be in CM Punk's corner at Mania 41. He dumped Roman Reigns. That's exactly what happened. And Roman knew that. So Roman is now backing Heyman into the corner. CM Punk attacks. Hits Roman Reigns with a GTS. Knocks Roman out cold before Roman even hits the canvas. If you see the way that his body was contorted, he was knocked out before. Storyline-wise, guys, don't worry. But Roman just played everything. Roman was great last night. So he played it to like the GTS. He was knocked out before he even got to the canvas, right? Because the way he landed, everything is like in a different air. It was wild. You would have thought he got hit with the same tranquilizer that Randy hit Nick Aldis with after the RKO. So it looked like Roman got hit with 16 tranquilizers. It's a horse going down. And then Punk turns and looks at Sethington. Sethington's like, nah, dude. Seth sees that there's an amped up CM Punk and wants nothing to do with it. Seth takes off as if he's a heel. And we go off the air with Paul Heyman screaming, no, no. Because he didn't want to see that happen to Roman. Especially because he just broke up with him. It's like that relationship, I don't want to be with you, but I want you to do good, right? I don't want to break up with you and then you get hit by a car. I don't want to see that because I feel bad. I broke up with you, right? That's what Paul Heyman's doing. I broke up with you. I don't want to see you get knocked out by the person I just went with. It was like wild. I mean, Paul Heyman playing it off beautifully. No! And Heyman looks at Paul with a little smirk, looks back at Roman and then gives the sleep sign. The producer, Lee Fitting, Paul Levesque, McMahon, Hunter Helmsley, little credits just to show you. Remember, it was us that produced this show. And we go off the air. Sethington, by the way, was laughing the entire time. I don't know, man. Do you guys think something's going to go on with Seth? Maybe like Seth and Roman end up taking out Punk. And they're both in cahoots with The Rock or somebody. Maybe that... I know that's separate. That's John Cena and Cody's match with The Rock. But do you think maybe there's an intertwining... something with Seth. I don't know if something big's going to go on with Seth. He was playing absolutely the third wheel again last night and just laughing at all this. Is there more at play where he becomes more of an intricate character? Because right now it's Roman and Punk that have stolen the shine out of this. Before it looked like Roman was the third wheel because the feud is clearly Seth and CM Punk. But something happened where last night, they have really ignited Punk and Roman, and that's why I don't want this stupid triple threat. I want to see Punk Roman one-on-one. The story you could tell with that match, if there was a title on the line, forget about it. But we're doing this weird triple threat. We're adding Sethington. There's no title on the line, and it's just about who has Paul Heyman's services. Now, what would have made this better? And this was done good, by the way. But it just makes you think if this was done correctly and there was an actual title on the line, this would make more sense because the services of Paul Heyman would have been amplified. There's a title on the line. And if Paul Heyman's in your corner, not just the sound advice he's going to give you the next 2 weeks, but what he can do on the night of, that's a huge advantage. But it's just a match. It's just 3 dudes fighting each other because they don't like one another. And all of this that we're seeing, contract signings, favors, and Paul Heyman dumping Roman for this dude, all of this is just for a match with nothing on the line. Right? You guys know I'm right. And I'm admitting that was done good last night. And it got me, even if it's a little bit, it got me intrigued for this a little bit more than I was because I wasn't before. But it just makes you think it needed something on the line. Guys, it had to. And this is just weird that 3 dudes are doing all of this for nothing. There's just animosity. I really wish they planned ahead and did something bigger with this on the title on the line, or just went with Punk and Roman if that's the way you were going to go. But for this, man, everybody played it beautifully, man. Punk was just on another level last night. Roman had not one hiccup. That GTS was taken beautifully. You would have thought he got just hit with a launch pad of tranquilizers. Paul Heyman in tears screaming, no! Sethington laughing and then wanting nothing to do with Punk. It was done so good. That, you mix in what Damian Priest did in that short little video package. You mix in with Tiffany Stratton and Charlie Flair going as low as you can go, chucking insults at one another and bringing in marriages and relationships. Kevin Owens with that emotional goodbye to WWE, at least for the foreseeable future. Jacoby Fatu earning a title match. And man, I don't know, man. Something happened last night where, again, maybe Hunter got trapped in a closet for 3 hours. But I can't believe I'm saying we got a good show. I mean, until 3 hours were over, I didn't feel like it was a chore. It wasn't a drag to get through. I was interested in a lot of what was going on. And 3%, right? I'm 3% now more looking forward to WrestleMania. It's not a lot, but listen, where we were for the whole WrestleMania season, 3% increase is good. The question now is, can we keep the consistency, any bit of that momentum? We've seen this in the before where they have a good show out of nowhere, and then the very next show, like Monday Night Raw, is just like, after 1 hour, we're like, is it over yet? You know, Elimination Chamber was really good. I felt good. And then immediately it was like, the hell are you doing? You killed it. You pissed on all that momentum. So that's going to be the real test. Monday Night Raw is going to be the real test, man. Can they put together a show like they just did last night? And if so, bet your ass we're going to talk about it. And I could be a positive Paulie. If not, then I'm going to continue to be the Donald Downer. Because it's Mania season. Yes, but it's basically Mania. Guys, we're 2 weeks away. There's no time. It's the 11th hour. You have to produce these type of shows. Salute. That's what I got for you guys, man. SmackDown 4/4/25. We actually got a good show. I'm shocked. Maybe I haven't even comprehended it yet, but we'll take this into Monday for sure. Special amped up. Another weekend edition tomorrow because there was not one yesterday and we just don't have the time. This took up all our time, this review. So you guys are going to get a special amped up tomorrow. Be subscribed and notified. Yes, channel members, you're going to get that 2 full hours before everybody else. So if you're not yet, make sure you become a member, and you'll get that first and foremost probably in the AM hours. So yeah, looking forward to that. A lot of good stories need to be told. And all the super thankses, man, we're going to shoot the shit for a while on those as well because a lot of you guys chucked a coffee to the channel. So I'll make sure I hit all you guys up as well. So yeah, we're going to have a good time. That's going to be tomorrow, a special Sunday weekend edition of Amped Up. All right, that's it. Until next time, there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC in the unit saying check you. 44 dive. That's a wrap. Salud.